All right, hi guys. We are recording for the review for tomorrow's test. The first section says solve by factoring. Maybe you accidentally solved by the quadratic formula or by graphing, and if you did, don't worry about it, but I'm going to do it the way the test says to do it, or sorry, the review says to do it. So first things first, we need this in standard form. This equation is not in standard form. Remember, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So right here, our b is on the wrong side of the equal sign. Just go ahead and add to the other side. We add it because it's negative. There you go. And then we make our t-chart. And at the top of the t-chart, we do a times c. Oh, I guess I should write ABC. A is 3, B is 8, and C is 4. So at the top, A times C, A is 3, and C is 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. And at the bottom, we have 8. So factors of 12, we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Which of these add up to 8? 2 and 6. So that's what we're going to use to split the middle here. Instead of 8x, we're going to say 2x plus 6x, bringing down that 3x squared and the 4. Now that we have 4 terms, we're going to group them. All right, from the first group, our GCF is 1x. From the second group, we have a plus sign in front, and our GCF is 2. As a reminder, if you need to use a calculator to find GCF, you can hit menu, number 2, and then number 5, and that'll help you find the GCF between two numbers. So our first set of parentheses, our first factor is x plus 2. I just got that from right here, x plus 2. And the second set of parentheses we divide. So we're going to say 6x divided by 2 and 4 divided by 2, leaving us with 3x plus 2. Now that we have our two factors, we're going to set the parentheses equal to 0 to solve for x. So we have x plus 2 equals 0 and 3x equals 0. So for the first one, we need to subtract the 2, leaving us with negative 2. And the other one, subtract the 2 and then divide by 3, leaving us with negative 2/3. All right, for the next one here it says, what is the positive solution for this? Again, we need to subtract the 3 over, just factoring, leaving us with 5x squared plus 14x minus 3. Now, our a value is 5, b is 14, and c is negative 3. All right, now A, B, C. We need to make our t-chart. And at the top, we have A times C. So 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. And at the bottom, we have 14. So factors of 15, 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Which of these could add up to 14? Well, these could if it were a negative 1. So we need to split the middle into negative x plus 15x, bringing down the 5x squared and the negative 3. Now we have 4 terms. From the first group, our GCF is x, and from the second, we can take out a positive 3. So our first factor is x plus 3. To get the second one, we're going to divide. 15x divided by 3 is 5x, and negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. Sorry, undo. Negative 1. All right, last we're going to set these parentheses equal to 0 and solve for x. X equals negative 3, and 5x minus 1 equals 0. We add 1, and then divide by 5, leaving us with x equals 1/5. Now, which one was the positive one? I'm not too sure, but we're just going to put both answers here, and that's totally fine. Okay, now what are the solutions to the equation 4x squared plus 20x equals 24? It says we're using the quadratic formula here, so again, we need this in standard form, which means it needs to be equal to 0. We're going to subtract the 24 to the other side, leaving us with 4x squared plus 20x minus 24 equals 0. now our ABC. A is 4, B is 20, and C is negative 24. Now that we have these, we can plug them into the quadratic formula, which I'm going to do a different color. X equals negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Alright, so as a reminder, don't forget to put big parentheses around the top and big parentheses around the bottom. Putting this in our calculator. Alright, putting this into the calculator, we have, we need a parentheses first, and negative 20 plus the square root of 20 squared minus 4 times 4 times negative 24. Now we do click out and we get that second parenthesis, divide by the bottom, which is 2 times 4. All right, that gives us a one solution of 1. We can go back, highlight it, copy it, and change to our minus version. So our two solutions are 1 and negative 6. All right. All right, now we're going to tackle number 4. This one says, what are the solutions to the equation? This is in vertex form. And that vertex form is always going to be available on your formula sheet, which will be given to you on the test and the start. So again, vertex form, we need to subtract everything or add everything to one side, leaving us with 2 times x minus 6 squared minus 72 equals 0. It even left us a hint here. It says hint, set equal to 0, which is what we did, and graph it. So we can go ahead and take this and put it into the calculator. Let's do Desmos. Okay. Enter. There we go. All right, once you have Desmos open, we're going to go to the space at the top and we're going to type what we had. 2 parentheses x minus 6 squared minus 72. All right, get rid of the thing. And we can see that our x-intercepts are at 0 and 12. So our two solutions here are 0, 0, 12. All right, now we're going to move on to number 5. For this problem, use the quadratic formula and show your work. So it says use quadratic formula. You will be asked to do this for one question on your Unit 8 test. No work, no credit. Okay. What are the solutions to this equation? Again, is this in standard form? No. We need to bring the 77 to the other side. Now we have 24x squared plus 8x minus 77 equals 0. A, 24. B, 8. C, negative 77. We're going to take these numbers and plug them into the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times 24 times c, negative 77, all over 2 times a. Now we're going to take this equation and put it into the Desmos calculator. I guess I could do the regular calculator too. Okay, there we go. All right, now for the calculator we have negative 8. Oh, I need that parentheses in the front. Don't forget that. Negative 8 plus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times a times c. Click out. Let me. Divided by parentheses 2 times 24. And we get 1.63. Let's check the other one. Copy. Go over. Sure. Negative 1.97. We're going to round up. So, all right, next problem. Simplify the given radical. Okay, we did these earlier this week. So when we simplify radicals, we do the factor tree. So we need two numbers that multiply to 250. I know 25 times 10, but now we got to split the 25. 5 times 5 is 25, and 10 is 2 times 5. All right. Now these 5s and these 2s can't be split anymore. So we circle our pairs and we box the singles. Now when we rewrite our answer, the pairs go out, because when you're dating, you go out, and the singles stay home. So now 2 times 5 is 10. So our answer is 5 square roots of 10. All right, let's take a look at the next page. Now we have some multiple choice. It says function f is defined as f of x equals 7x squared plus 35x minus 42. What are the solutions to f of x equals 0? Select two answers. Now this is just a fancy way of saying solve for x. How do we solve for x? We can factor, we could use the quadratic formula, or we can stick it in Desmos. Let's do the easiest one and stick it in Desmos. So let's go to our calculator, or Desmos, just kidding. Desmos, and we're going to say 7x squared, that's multiplication, x squared plus 35x plus minus 42. Hit enter. Is that going to do it? Oh, there's our parabola. Now we want the two x-intercepts. We have an x-intercept here at 1 and one here at negative 6. So our two answers are 1 and negative 6. There we go. All right, number 8. Which value of x is a solution to this equation? So again, solving for x. Is this in standard form? Yeah, it is. We could factor it, we could use a quadratic equation, or we can just stick it in Desmos. That's the easiest thing to do here. So 5x squared, oops, forgot x, okay. 5x squared minus 12x plus 4. We look at our y-intercepts, 2 and 0.4. So go back here and we have x equals 2 equals 0.4. Which of these shows those answers? The only correct one here is 0.4. This one says negative 2, and this 2 was definitely positive. It was not negative. So those other answers are there to trick you. Don't be tricked by them. 3 more questions. We're almost done. All right. Given this function, which statement is true? Okay, we can put this in the calculator and see what statement might be true. So our function is 2x squared. Okay, well, my calculator's not listening to me. 2x squared minus 32. And we get an x-intercept here at 4 and at negative 4. So 4 and negative 4. Let's see, mark 4. X, come on. X equals 4 and negative 4. Sorry for the writing. My pen is messed up. The zeros are 0 and 16. No, that's not true. The zeros are 4 and negative 4. The only 0 is 4. No, we have 2. The zeros are plus and minus 4. That's good. And the last one says the only 0 is 4. Okay. let's talk about what 0 means. 0 means x-intercept. Another word for it. Root and solution. These all mean the same thing, x-intercept. So when it says 0, it says that to confuse you. It wants to know the x-intercepts, which we found were 4 and -4. All right, number 10. The area of a rectangular trampoline is 96 feet. The length is 4 greater than the width of the trampoline. This situation can be represented by the equation. Here's our equation. It says, what is the width? So if it's asking for the width, what do you think we're solving for? If you guessed W, you're correct. This is a quadratic equation, so we're going to stick this in the calculator and again, look for the x-intercept. So again, putting it in the calculator, we have, let's use x instead, x squared plus 4x minus 96. Now we look at our graph and we have an x-intercept at 8 and -12. Fantastic. So 8 and -12. But we're talking about a rectangular trampoline. Can a trampoline be negative? No. So our answer is going to be C, 8. All right, last one. Again, here's a function. What do you think we're going to do? Stick it in the calculator and look at the x-intercepts. But the question here says, how many rows are there in the auditorium if it has a total of 324 seats? So it says the total number of seats is modeled by this, where x represents the number of rows of seats. Okay, let's stick it in the calculator and see what we get. So we have 3x squared minus 9x. Our x-intercepts here are 3 and 0. It wants to know how many rows are there in the auditorium if it has a total of 324 seats. So if x is the rows and it's looking for the how many rows, here, it wants us to know, it wants to find out how many rows, and x is the number of rows. So we want to see what x equals when y is 324. So let's put in our calculator, y equals 4. We look for that line, the point of intersection, and it is 12. So when y is 324, the x value there is 12. All right, that concludes our video. I hope you did well when you were working on the review yourself, and I hope you do well on the test tomorrow. Have a good night.